Mount Hope Mining is headed for the ASX and offering investors an opportunity to access copper and gold exploration assets through its flagship asset, the Mount Hope project located on the southern Cobar region of New South Wales. This interview is brought to you by MarketTech Focus, the market information and share trading platform that provides you with a clearer picture of the market. And joining me to outline details of the IPO is Mount Hope Mining Managing Director Fergus Kiley. Fergus, welcome to the Stock Network.
Thank you very much for having me, Lel. I'm looking forward to having a chat.
Absolutely. Now, Fergus, you're a geologist by trade and one of the founders of Mount Hope Mining. Why did you establish the company? And can you also outline the appeal of the assets?
Yeah, not a problem. Lel, I guess we established the company because I feel like there is an opportunity in the market to provide investors with a opportunity to take a look at early stage copper and gold exploration assets, but exploration assets that are in a proven mining jurisdiction. And that's partly the attraction for the Mount Hope project for myself. My background being a technically focused geologist, I think it's imperative when you're looking at allocating capital, particularly in the exploration space. There's so many options to choose from. One option an investor may take is looking at trying to de-risk that decision by putting yourself in mining jurisdictions with a proven history of metal production in areas where people want those exploration dollars spent and want that activity to occur. And that's really what Cobar offers. And then with respect to the Mount Hope project itself within Cobar, the project is 148 k's south of the mining heart of Cobar, the town itself. And the tenure that we have is ring-fenced by sort of 5 historic mines. And there's plenty of sort of prospecting activity within our ground. So we're in the right setting. We're in a high quality basin. There's a lot of corporate activity occurring within that basin outside of our activity, which is just giving us a bit of a wet sail to come home with. And we've got sort of 5 really exciting targets that we think are high quality shots on the dartboard for investors to take a closer look at.
Awesome. Now, you touched on the history. The Cobar region of New South Wales has a long history of mining since 1870. What do you believe are the highlights of the region's mining activity, and how are you planning for Mount Hope Mining to form part of the future of this mining region?
Yeah, it's a really important point, I think, Lel, that you've made, because the mining activity within Cobar itself has been occurring in excess of 150 years. Mining first occurred in Cobar, which predates the Broken Hill mine, for example, in New South Wales. So there's a long pedigree of activity. And with that comes an understanding and a recognition that exploration and mining forms part of the fabric of society and is a key contributor to the local economy there. Operating in other jurisdictions around Australia has become increasingly challenging, but places like Cobar present investors and companies such as our own with the opportunity to operate in a safe jurisdiction that understands mining, that's produced millions of tons of metal, over 4 million tons of copper and 3 million ounces of gold, just for some statistical relevance there for Cobar. So it's one of the preeminent copper and gold and lead zinc silver jurisdictions within Australia. And then you spoke about the basin itself. Mount Hope has a strategic land holding in the southern part of the basin. Our tenure interacts with the Broken Hill to Orange Railway as it cross-cuts the Kidman Way, which is the main sort of north-south artery for road travel in the basin. So we've got a strategic land holding. We have advanced exploration targets that we feel are untested. We know they're untested, and we feel they're good opportunities for exploration success. And so within the southern part of the basin, there's sort of no operational epicenter as such yet, as there is in the north and central parts of the basin. And we feel our land position leaves us in the best strategic location should we make a discovery to set up, a future hub and spoke type model or be an epicenter for processing capacity in the southern part of the basin.
Excellent. And looking more at those discoveries and your exploration timeline, can you talk us through what your exploration timeline is and what needs to happen, such as the key catalysts in the coming 6 months?
Yeah, so part of the attraction for the Mount Hope project for myself specifically was the advanced nature of the targets that we have. Within our portfolio, we have the Mount Hope East target, the Black Hill target, Little Mount Solitary, Main Road East, and of course, the Mount Solitary to Mount Solar gold trend. I'll just focus on the first 4 of those 5 as they formulate the advanced part of our target portfolio. And those 4 targets, Mount Hope East through to Main Road East, those targets are your typical Cobar style polymetallic VMS targets. Those targets will be the focus of the company for the first 6 months. And we've generated those targets by coincident anomalies across multiple layers of data. And this is how major exploration companies complete exploration. So you want to overlay layers of data and look at where they coincide to build your drill targets. Across the 4 advanced targets that we have coincident ground geochemical anomalism. So we've got base metal, principally lead, which has the highest correlation for mineralization within Cobar. So we have 4 lead in soil geochemical anomalies that sit in the correct structural zones for this style of deposit, because the Cobar style polymetallic mines are all structurally controlled. We then have coincident electromagnetic features along strike or proximal to those soil geochemical anomalies. So we need to go in at the prospect scale and do ground-based EM and IP, induced polarization. And that will really define targets for us at depth and in space. And so then that really is the formation of our drill targeting. We're looking for that soil geochemical anomaly with a conductive plate at depth. And that's really what we'll aim the drills at. And at that point, it's simply rolling the RC drill rig out and drilling offensive holes over the top of these targets. And so we've budgeted, 6 months to get to a drill ready stage, to be drilling within 6 months of listing, post completing the soil, confirmatory soil geochem work and ground EM and IP. And the RC drill rig is all that we require to test these targets. The level of mining and exploration activity that's occurred throughout Cobar through that long, rich 150-year history has provided very clear economic thresholds on what denotes a discovery versus not. And so therefore there are very clear hurdles for us internally that we have to meet. And from a drilling perspective, many of the mines within Cobar have a surface or subsurface expression of 400 meters. And so we are thinking about testing these targets at 100-meter line spaced intervals with drill holes at approximately 50 meters per line. So if we're thinking across a 400-meter target, we might drill 300-meter spaced lines with 3 holes per line, so circa 9 holes per target, with an RC rig drilling 200 meters. And we can define that if we don't hit an economic mineralization or a mineralized interval within that box of rock, that 200 down by 300 across by 150 wide, then it is unlikely that there's a mineralized system sitting there. And so this portfolio is designed to test these targets, but importantly, to fail and fail fast if required.
Excellent. And Fergus, when it comes to your ASX IPO, can you introduce the team behind Mount Hope Mining, outline the key details of the IPO and how investors can access the prospectus?
It would be my pleasure to, Lal, because we've got a strong board that supports the company. So I'll start with our chairman, Mr. Ben Phillips. Ben is currently Ben comes from a corporate and commercial background. He's currently the executive chair of ASX listed Norfolk Metals. He also sits on the board of many peaks and has a strong commercial and corporate understanding for value creation via sort of strategic planning and sound corporate activity. So he leads the company from the non-executive chair role. Myself, I'm the managing director. I have a technical background, but I also spent the last couple of years in mining private equity. I was working in the business development team for Wailu, which is the private mining investment vehicle for the Forrest family office. We also have Todd Williams joining the board as a non-executive director. Todd is the managing director of Unico Silver, who is the vendor of the project. So Todd also has a technical and commercial background. He's a geologist by trade, but he's built a successful silver development company in Unico, and they've just consolidated the Joaquin district within Santa Cruz in Argentina, and they're drilling off silver ounces there. And then rounding out the management team is CFO and co-secretary Paul Kiley. Paul is actually my father. So it's pretty cool to have an opportunity to work with the old man. But he has a strong history working in mining. He was the director of corporate development for Newmont for the Asia Pacific region for many, many years. He was the CFO for South Australian copper producer Hillgrove for many years, and most recently the CFO and general manager for business development for Catalyst throughout the Henty and Plutonic gold mine transactions. So that rounds out the board and management team. It's about keeping it tight, keeping expenditure as low as possible, and making sure that the funds we raise from shareholders throughout the IPO are directed to in-ground, because that's where the most valuation can be made for the company. With respect to the IPO itself, the key dates there where the offer is live right now. So the book build will be closed by Thursday, the 21st of November, although we've already had strong support. So there's every chance that date is shut sooner. But if we work to Thursday, the 21st of November, provided we get our appropriate administrative documents back to the ASX and have it signed off, we'd be looking to trade by week commencing Monday, the 9th of December.
Excellent. Well, Fergus, thank you so much for your insights. All the best for the approaching IPO. And if viewers want to watch more CEO interviews on the MarketTech Focus platform, they can scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you, Fergus.
Thank you very much for your time, Lel. Really appreciate it. And if investors need any further information, you can, of course, go to our website, which is www.mounthopemining.com.au, Mount spent MOUT, or, of course, through the MarketTech platform itself.